The A-12 program was substantially overcost and behind in schedule. Given the fact that this information was available in all three offices, why was it ignored?
The A-12 Avenger, affectionately called the Flying Dorito, showed an amazing idea for the future of naval aviation. It's the late 1980s, and the U.S. Navy really wants to use the latest technology and be better in what they do.
In my view, they were over-ambitious with the design, they were over-ambitious with the technical details, and they had more expectations from the stealth than proved realistic.
The A-12 wasn't just thought of as a plane, it was imagined as a sign of a new time. A big step into a future with lots of new ideas and exciting things. Let's think about and come up with our version of the A-12 Avenger to see how well it matches what they wanted and think about how it could have changed how military planes work.
The Navy saw the Air Force starting to get all these stealth airplanes. Of course, it became very jealous because he could see that his role was going to diminish. He got 4 warnings in writing and verbally that the A-12 was a problem.
You are watching Battleground. Consider subscribing to watch regular episodes. In the late 1980s, the US Navy needed a new plane to replace its old A-6 Intruder, which was like a super versatile and tough workhorse. The Intruder could do different jobs, like carrying lots of bombs and being an electronic jammer or a refueling tanker. Pilots like to call it the Iron Tadpole. Even though it could carry air-to-air missiles, it wasn't really a fighter. Some people think the time when the Intruder flew, along with planes like the F-4 Phantom and later the F-14 Tomcat, was a great period for planes on carriers. But as time passed, the Intruder faced problems because newer defense systems were getting better, and its design from the 1960s was getting old. So the Navy wanted a newer, more advanced attack plane that could break through tough defenses and carry more stuff. That's where the A-12 Avenger came in. They wanted it to be like a Swiss Army knife in the sky, able to do lots of different jobs with different kinds of weapons. The A-12 Avenger's special thing was that it used stealth technology, which means it could fly into enemy areas without being noticed. The plan was to hit the bad guys before they even knew what happened. The Navy wanted this plane to be a pioneer in stealth for carrier-based planes, making it a secret weapon that could go deep into enemy territory and deliver its payload with super accuracy. The idea was to surprise the enemy and make it too late for them to defend against it. The A-12 wasn't just about being stealthy, it aimed to use the latest technologies. The goal was to have advanced systems for things like finding the right path, targeting, and delivering weapons. Pilots would have a high-tech cockpit that felt like they were flying a plane from the future. Since it was meant for the Navy, the A-12 could work from aircraft carriers. Its clever design aimed to make it really ready and effective for missions. The idea was to give the Navy a modern capability for striking from the sea, with a fast and powerful aircraft that could go anywhere in the world, taking off right from a carrier deck. Additionally, the A-12 wasn't just meant to be stealthy and versatile, it was also built to travel long distances. This would help the Navy reach places it couldn't before, giving the United States more flexibility and strategic depth. The goal was to go farther, stay in the air longer, and hit harder, all while staying hidden from enemy radar. And there's more. The aircraft was planned to be easier and cheaper to take care of compared to the planes before it. They wanted to have simple and efficient ways to keep it flying, making it cost less to operate. This would be a win-win situation, improving military effectiveness and budgeting. Now, let's dive into the details of our concept fighter. Imagine a world where Northrop, not McDonnell Douglas or General Dynamics, won the contract. In that time, Northrop was impressing everyone with its B-2 Spirit, a fantastic plane with advanced flying wing stealth technology. It's not too crazy to think that our made-up A-12 Avenger could benefit a lot from that cool design. One big difference you might notice in our concept A-12 is that it has only one crew member. Even though it might seem a bit surprising, we're taking inspiration from today's Joint Strike Fighter, also known as the F-35. The A-12 was designed to use something called sensor fusion. Because of this, we thought one person could handle flying it. If the A-12 had been built, it might have been around the same time as the JSF, Joint Strike Fighter. This means the A-12 could have been flying in the early 2000s, doing similar things to what the F-35 does now. Going back to our idea for the plane, Since the A-12 had to work on aircraft carriers, its wings needed to fold to save space on the busy flight deck and in the hangar bays below. Now, let's talk about the engines. Besides making sure the plane doesn't show up on radar cross-section, or RCS, another part of being stealthy is not giving off too much heat. There are systems, like infrared search and track, IRST, that look for hot spots in the air to find planes, especially those trying to be stealthy. To make sure it doesn't give off too much heat, our A-12 has engine exhaust ports that are covered, like what the B-2 bomber does. Now let's think about the engine inlets. Even though it might seem small, where the air goes into the engine is really important. The A-12's inlets are lower than the exhaust ports, and they make the air take a kind of S-shaped path. This isn't random. It's a smart way to hide the fan blades inside the engine, so they can't be seen through the inlets. This is important because those fan blades, which are usually in a straight line, can show up on radar. This cool ductwork isn't just in our made-up A-12. Modern jets like the Super Hornet use it too to keep their engine blades hidden. Firepower of the A-12. It follows a strategy of hiding its weapons, using what we call a height and plain sight approach. Inside its belly, there are 3 weapons bays. Imagine the central bay as the heavy hitter. It can carry big bombs like laser-guided ones or missiles designed to hit ships. Meanwhile, the 2 sidebars are like versatile players, able to carry lighter weapons such as air-to-air missiles for defense, or smaller bombs for tactical strikes. In our envisioned A-12 concept, being stealthy is crucial, but we've also given it the ability to carry external fuel tanks. Think of it like a soldier with a hydration pack. It's all about extending how long it can stay out there. This feature would be useful for long-distance flights or missions where the plane needs to move to a different location. Other modern jets, like the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning, use this strategy for similar reasons. While it's true that carrying external tanks or weapons can make the plane easier to detect, there are times when the benefits are more important than the downsides. It's a bit like a chess player giving up a pawn for a strategic advantage. Sometimes, the mission requires making that trade-off. After looking into the key features of the A-12, we're left wondering about the exciting possibilities that might have come to be. Let's think about a different situation, where Northrop gets the A-12 contract. Could this also mean good things for the YF-23, making it more than just an idea? Back when they were picking planes for the Advanced Tactical Fighter, ATF, the Navy and the Air Force had 2 choices, Lockheed's YF-22 and Northrop's YF-23. In reality, they went with the YF-22, but in our pretend situation where the YF-23 wins, we can imagine a carrier deck with both the Avenger and the Black Widow. That would have been really interesting. Remember, the A-12 was supposed to do the jobs of the A-6 Intruder. What actually happened was the Super Hornets taking over not just the A-6's attack role, but also the F-14 Tomcat's fighter job. Now let's think about another situation where the YF-23 doesn't win, like what really happened. But in this case, the A-12 Avenger takes off. This could have opened the door for new versions of the F-14 Tomcat. The most interesting one might have been the ST-21 or Super Tomcat 21st Century. It could have had cool stuff like strong but light materials, going really fast without making too much noise, and using advanced thrust technology. This upgraded Tomcat could have changed the game, making military aviation even more exciting. Sadly, the A-12 Avenger faced problems that made it stop. It was like a mix of things going wrong, like costs going up, needing technology that wasn't ready yet, the military changing what it wanted, and not as much support from politicians. The program ended in 1991, making it one of those stories in military aviation where we wonder what could have happened. We hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and like this video.